Figures of speech is the most important aspect of any poem. The figures of speech which are covered in this poem have been written on the left hand side of the slide, and alliteration and repetition have been highlighted in red. Alliteration means whenever the sounds are repeated in a sentence for pleasing or musical effect, then the speech of figure of speech is alliteration. And for example, discussing their duty to God, so the sound of letter D is repeated here. Now in the line, for the second last line, you can see, I wonder they get these tokens. I wonder where they get these tokens. So wonder, W is repeated for poetic effect, and letter TH and makes the sound of the is repeated also in the second last line of this poem. And the repetition means when the word is repeated, the whole word is repeated, that figure of speech is repetition. For example, in line number 3, the word long is repeated, and in line number 7, not one, this word is repeated twice in the same line for better poetic effect. Now I'm going to take up each and every line and give you all the breakups here. Line number 3, just look at that. I stand and look at them long and long, that is, the figure of speech here is repetition. And line number 4, there is something very important here. Please focus. There is an onomatopoeia here. Whine. I whine about their condition. What is an onomatopoeia? When a word conveys the sound that is to be expressed, the figure of speech is onomatopoeia. Alright, now we move on to line number 6. They do not make me sick, discussing their duty to God. The letter sound is repeated, alliteration. Now come to line number 7. There is alliteration as well as there is alliteration as well as there is a repetition here. The letter D is repeated, so the figure of speech is alliteration and repetition. Now line number 7 and 8, here there is one figure of speech which is highlighted here, is this is demented and mania. That means there is a tautology. What is a tautology? When two words or phrases in a sentence means the same thing, the figure of speech is tautology. Here demented and mania, they both mean the same thing. Alright, that is crazy. Now we'll move on to line number 11. Alright, not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. So what is this figure of speech? There is hyperbole. The word whole world, whole earth means there is a hyperbole here. This word has been used to exaggerate, to refer to all the animals that live in the world. There is antithesis also here. Why antithesis? What is an antithesis? Antithesis means when we have two opposite meaning words present in the opposite meaning words or opposite ideas which are used in the same sentence. So here antithesis is because the word respectable and unhappy, these two contrasting ideas and different ideas are used. Alright, respectable means happy and satisfied, whereas unhappy means sad or dissatisfied in the same line. These two words have been used, so the figure of speech here is antithesis. Now in line number 13, you can see there is repetition as well as alliteration. In line number 14, you can see there is alliteration, and in line number 13 there is tautology also. Alright, me and myself, they both mean the same thing. So again there is one more figure of speech, tautology. Now Line number 14, there is again letter P is repeated, so alliteration. And line number 15, I wonder where they get these tokens, get those tokens. So here the figure of speech is alliteration because the letter W and TH, the, is repeated. Now we move on to the last line of this poem. Did I pass that way huge time ago? Now here the huge time ago is a hyperbole. It is used to exaggerate the passage of time. Another figure of speech is interrogation. That means there is a question asked. The poet concludes the poem with a question, not to get an answer, but to encourage readers to think deeply about his situation. So, what is an interrogation? When a question is asked instead of a statement. Alright, thank you.